This is a tutorial for Leader of the Landslide by Lumineers. There's a lot of different ways you can play this song, a lot of different variations you can do, a lot of opinions. I've seen different covers do it in different ways, so I'm just going to share the way that I do it, and you can feel free to add your own things. This is just meant to be a bare bones tutorial so that you can build off of it and add what you like. So starting off with the intro, it's just a C to an F shape, generally speaking. So starting off, I do this. So that's a thumb hitting the bass note, and then there's 4 notes happening. So you're using 3 fingers to make 4 notes, using a hammer-on the first note that's being played. So you're taking your middle finger off over here, hammering on, and using your index finger. And then follow through with the middle finger and the ring finger on those 2 strings that follow. So it's just bass note. And typically I find that I don't really accentuate the note being hit with the middle finger. That one's more subdued, so it's there, but it's almost not there. And so what I do is play that twice, and then I strum in a down, down, up pattern with the thumb. And then a down strum following that with the F chord. And the F chord is, as with the C, I was muting the highest string. That was muted, so I was not doing it. It was just muted, using the index finger wrapped really tightly around the neck to mute that one. Similarly with the F chord, 6th string is muted, so thumb is wrapping over the top to get the bass. So hitting a down strum and then going into the same pattern. It's a little different though, but the idea is the same. There's 4 notes starting with a hammer on. 1, 2, 3, 4. So whereas before you had these 3 fingers just being hit in sequence, for the F, you're changing the sequence. You're going middle finger, index finger, ring finger. So the middle finger is putting a hammer on, using your middle finger on the left hand as well. So that's on the G string to the 2nd fret as per the F shape. D string with the index finger, B string with the ring finger. And then as with the C shape, you're doing that F pattern twice, and then a down, down, up. So from the beginning that sounds like this. So I like to add on the F, like when you're doing the bass note, I mean, after you do this little embellishment with the fingers, it's nice to add more than just one bass note with your thumb, to add multiple bass notes to really flesh out the chords and the sounds. You could do that with the C as well by adding the G bass. that basically continues through the first few verses, right? And you reach a point where you're gonna go. It finishes with you could never love without crying, right? You could never. So you're gonna go to a D minor. Then you're gonna go to an F. And so you could pick your own way of doing this. You could, just pluck a few strings and try and make that twangy, or you could lightly strum it, whatever you want. So it's just a D minor for 1 bar, F for 1 bar, and then back to the pattern. But just the C shape. So you're just doing this 2 bars. Then once again, D minor and F. So that's on the first time is gonna be, every day. Is she dead? Is she fine? Is she dead? Is she fine? Every day, every night. And you're gonna do this one more time. And now, what I do, again, I'm just showing how I play the song, is then I transition to strumming. So whereas all that first part was this finger picking style, I'll transition to strumming. So I'll do, every day, every night, finger, and now to so pretty much it's just the strumming, using just the thumb, like the pad of the thumb, so it's soft, and basically trying to emulate that finger work. Trying to emulate that, but like if you were going to try and do that, but you had to be strumming. So meaning I start off with kind of just hit the bottom, the thick strings first, and then the thin strings accented afterwards. So basically just targeting which strings, like top 3 or bottom 3, to hit with your thumb only. So again, starting off with the C, finger picking for the first 2 bars. So it's basically just adding more energy for this part of the song where you're going, fate has dealt me a lowly blow. Fate has dealt me a lowly blow, I said no. Tried to help me hurt, yeah, it was more energy, right? And then so you're gonna go through that and reach a point again where it's saying, is she dead? Is she fine? So it's D minor and F again. And again, you're just doing 2 bars of C, so you could strum it if you like. Or you could do the finger picking and bring it back into the fold. And again, every day, every night, D minor and F. And now then you're gonna finish off with 2 more bars of C. And from here we go into the build-up, right? So it goes very quiet. You could just pretty much stop completely. So 2 bars of C. To keep time, you can go right into soft strumming with your thumb. Very soft. Like at first, even yourself playing, you could hardly hear it. And you're gonna transition to this 2-2 time, like so. The feel you're going for is like 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Really, so you can. It's counting like 4s, like before 2 bars. So 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Switching between C and F chords. throughout. So starting off very quiet, and all the magic is happening, I would say, on the G string. So at the beginning, when it's very quiet and you're building it, I would say to focus on that string right there with your finger. And you can do this a couple of different ways as well. Like, I like to give it a pause at the beginning of the bar, so pretty much just using the thumb on the bass notes and the index finger like just slapping along the lower notes. So down, down, up, down, 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 up. Kind of hard to explain, so down, down, up, down, up, down. Not sure if I can explain it very well, really. I hope you can pick up the groove from watching. So that's how I play that part. And from there, where is it? Give back my key. So that's going to be on the C. Give back my keys, give back my chair, take back those clothes you always left on the floor. Keeps going. So at this point, and all this time, or all I ever wanted, just go to a D minor. So all I ever wanted was love for the first time. Finally, I can see you as it. So it's basically a D minor, and then when you hear the change, that's to a G. So I recommend just doing D minor like. D is just kind of these off beats, and then G is kind of laying in on all the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and then back to the D minor, and close that with this G7 in pointer finger on the first fret. That kind of fits nicely with the ending there. Leader of the landslide. I think I was out of tune too. All this time, finally I can see you as the leader of the landslide. Yeah. I think I'm singing a bit out of tune, but then we go into that part she left, the writing on the wall. That's gonna be C. Really out of tune with my singing, so I'll just stop. But it's going to be C to E7 to A minor to F. So landslide. So So it's straight through those 4 chords: C, E7, A minor, F for those lyrics, those verses. And when you get to, you know, maybe when she's dead and gone, I'll get. You're gonna keep going on F. Keep holding the F. Yeah. Some sleep. Just let it ring out. So on sleep, I like to push my hand out from the neck while maintaining that F shape to stop muting the highest string, and that's actually no fret, so it's just an E note, because that's like what you're singing sleep is like, so it's an F with that E on the top, and I find it fits really nicely with saying sleep, the lyrics. So some sleep. So from there you go to, once again, just C to F. And 2 bars for each one. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so, and you're gonna go to You Blamed It All on Your Kids. Blamed it all on your kids. You were young, you were innocent. Told me a lie, left you for that. Up for your pride and up for your abandon. So it's just F to C, 2 bars until you reach D minor again and G. All this time I waited like a fool for the first time. Finally I can see you as the leader of the landslide. Again, G7. Same pattern as before. C, E7, A minor, F. So again, get some sleep. And again, 2 bars each, F and C. And so when you reach that point, it's going to transition to the ending, which is C. Out here on my own, I was E minor, feeling so alone. And it's A minor, like a poltergeist in the F afterlife. C, fading by degrees, E minor, I was shaking in the knee. A minor, aftermath, go to F, broken glass. And then you let that F ring out a bit, and then you can go to this finger picking. So I'm basically just doing a thumb here on 3 fingers, thumb on the D string, so I hit the thumb twice, so thumb twice and then middle finger on the B string, and then back down to the D string, or to the G string rather, and then the D string. And then singing again, F, starting off on the F. Oh my gosh, did I do that wrong just now? Yeah, so it goes F to C to G with a D bass. So that's just 3rd fret on the G on the bottom with a D bass note to A minor. So that sounds like this. So you know, you do a little bit more accentuation on the A minor. And on the last time, you just, instead of doing 2 bars A minor, you do 1 bar A minor, 1 bar F. That's pretty much the end of the song.